Melissa Scott's trail cameras might contain clues about the disappearance of Lilly and Jack Sullivan. RCMP asked her for days of footage as the investigation into the missing children approaches the 3-week mark.
It's scary, especially not knowing what happens. We definitely keep our kids a little closer to home now.
From just now, the RCMP has finally confirmed 2 major updates in the Lilly and Jack case, and these changes are already reshaping how investigators move forward. For months, this investigation felt trapped in silence, but the RCMP has now spoken clearly, officially, and on the record. And what they've confirmed isn't speculation. It isn't rumor. It's real, it's recent, and it changes the direction of this entire search. Stay with me, because the second confirmation is the one people have been waiting for the longest. Before we get into the new confirmations, here's the fast breakdown, expanded clearly and in depth so each point carries the full weight of what happened. Lilly and Jack Sullivan disappeared earlier this year, triggering what quickly became one of the largest combined community-led and RCMP-supported searches Nova Scotia has seen in years. The moment the alert went out, people from surrounding towns, nearby communities, and even different provinces stepped in to help. Hundreds of volunteers walked shoulder to shoulder through fields, trails, and backroads, hoping to find anything that could point investigators in the right direction. This wasn't a small, quiet effort. It was a province-wide mobilization built on urgency, fear, and determination. Along the way, volunteers discovered various objects scattered throughout the wider search radius, items that people hoped might belong to the children. Each discovery sparked new speculation and new theories online. But every one of those items had to be analyzed, ruled in, or ruled out. Social media only amplified the confusion, spreading interpretations, assumptions, and comparisons faster than investigators could address them. People wanted answers, and in the absence of confirmed facts, theories filled the void. Behind the scenes, investigators worked through interviews, device data, digital timestamps, and hours upon hours of video footage, trying to filter truth from noise. Every camera angle, every timestamp clip, every second of movement from surrounding roads or properties was reviewed, sometimes multiple times, to identify patterns or anomalies. Meanwhile, our CMP team conducted structured interviews, revisited earlier statements, and compared timelines for inconsistencies. It was slow, methodical work, and most of it happened out of public view. Through all this, the RCMP remained extremely quiet, choosing not to comment on circulating theories or discuss unverified leads. Their updates were brief, cautious, and strictly fact-based. That silence added to public tension, but it also signaled something important. Investigators weren't guessing. They were waiting for solid confirmation before speaking. And today, for the first time in weeks, that silence finally broke, because the RCMP has now confirmed 2 solid, official points. 2 findings that cut through speculation, override online theories, and clarify exactly where the investigation stands. These confirmations reshape the entire understanding of the case. The RCMP has now officially confirmed that the investigation into Lilly and Jack Sullivan's disappearance is still fully active, not paused, not stalled, and absolutely not cold. This clarification matters more than people realize. For weeks, online discussions, comment threads, and even a few community groups kept circulating claims that the case had been left behind, that investigators had run out of leads, or that the file was no longer a priority. Those rumors spread fast, and they created the impression that all momentum had stopped. But the RCMP's newest update shuts all of that down. According to their statement, investigators are still gathering new information every single week, continuing to examine tips that come in, and reviewing data that might not have shown its full relevance earlier in the case. This means nothing has been shelved. Every detail, no matter how small, is being reevaluated against the most recent findings. They also confirm they are actively analyzing evidence, not just previously collected material, but new data as well. That includes digital timeline, environmental assessments, witness interviews, and cross-referencing statements that may now take on new meaning with what they've recently learned. The fact that analysis is ongoing means new leads are still emerging behind the scenes, even if they're not public yet. The RCMP further emphasized they are still conducting follow-ups, which tells us investigators are continuing to revisit locations, re-interview individuals, and verify movement patterns. This is a strong indication that the case is progressing in a direction solid enough to justify more fieldwork, something they would not be doing if the file were actually inactive. Most importantly, the RCMP is actively appealing for tips from the public, highlighting that any detail, even a memory someone hasn't shared yet, could help connect existing evidence to a clearer picture of what happened. All of this confirms one critical truth. Investigators have not reached the end of the trail. They have not shut down momentum. And they have not closed the door on finding out exactly what happened to Lilly and Jack. The investigation is still moving, and the RCMP is making it clear they are not stopping until they have answers. The RCMP has released a second official confirmation, and it's one that immediately shifts the direction of the entire search effort. They now state that the items discovered by volunteer search teams in recent weeks are not connected to Lilly and Jack's disappearance. This includes everything that stirred discussion online. Pieces of children's clothing, small toys, and random objects found near riverbanks, along trails, and in wooded clearings. Each of those discoveries generated a wave of hope, fear, and speculation, with people wondering whether searchers had finally stumbled on something meaningful. But investigators didn't just glance at those objects. They examined, tested, and cross-checked them against the known timelines and data from the case. After reviewing them thoroughly, they determined none of those items were linked to the children. No material matches, no timeline matches, and no evidence suggesting the kids ever interacted with the discovered objects. This confirmation matters for several reasons. First, it eliminates a massive set of false leads that have been dominating discussions online. Many believe these discoveries were the turning point the case needed, and that they signaled a major breakthrough. The RCMP statement makes it clear. Those theories, as compelling as they seemed, were built on unrelated items. Second, it tells us something important about how investigators are thinking. The fact that they quickly and confidently ruled these items out means they already have a clearer direction in mind, one that doesn't align with those volunteer findings. If the case were scattered, unfocused, or uncertain, investigators would not be able to dismiss those objects so decisively. Third, it signals that the RCMP is looking elsewhere, and not just generally. They're focusing on an area, a timeline, or scenario that is far more specific than the scattered reports from the public. Their attention is no longer diluted by every new object found in the woods. Instead, they're narrowing in on something that fits the actual evidence. So while the ruled-out items may feel like a setback for those hoping for a clue, the bigger message is this. Investigators know more than they are publicly releasing, and their focus is now tightened, not widened. When you combine both RCMP confirmations, a very clear picture emerges, one that most people following the case hadn't fully understood until now. The investigation is absolutely still active, and it's far more focused than the public realizes. The RCMP isn't drifting, guessing, or chasing every rumor posted online. Instead, they're doing the opposite. They're filtering out distractions. Like the volunteer-found items that were officially ruled out, they're tightening their scope, leaning on verified timelines, environmental analysis, and factual data instead of speculation. And behind the scenes, investigators are continuing the slow, detailed work that actually solves cases, interviewing and re-interviewing key people, reviewing digital records and device activity, pulling location data and communication timestamps, analyzing surveillance from surrounding routes and properties, reassessing terrain evidence to confirm where the children did not go. None of this is random. None of it is scattered. The RCMP's actions suggest they believe the answers are still there, but they lie in a specific window, a specific part of the timeline, and likely a specific scenario, not the broad theories circulating online. So what does this mean for the case? It means investigators are not starting over. They're closing in. The search is no longer a wide net. It's a targeted, intentional effort based on the most reliable evidence they've uncovered so far. And that level of focus almost always signals the same thing. They believe the truth is still within reach. So now the big question becomes, if the investigation is active, if unrelated items have been ruled out, and if RCMP analysts are still reviewing evidence behind the scenes, what are investigators focusing on next? Because sources close to the case say the next major update could come the moment digital and forensic analyses finish. And that could be the breakthrough the public has been waiting for. I'll keep tracking every confirmed update the moment it drops. Stay tuned. The next RCMP statement may be the most important one yet.